All right, we are live. So, and hopefully you can hear us now, Chuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
It totally gave up on my headphones. I don't know why. So this whole laptop's on the blink, so whatever.
But yeah, as we were saying, I got back from Florida. It was good. The conference was really good in Florida. It was really interesting. So, especially actually when I got there, I was supposed to speak at the 21 convention main event conference, which I did, but I didn't have my talk ready, so I had to do it while I was there. And then when I got there, the conference organizer Anthony said, "Hey, do you want to speak at the 22 convention as well?" Which is the 22 convention. The theme of it is "Make Women Great Again," and it's all male speakers and all female attendees.
Oh wow.
It's the
That won't hurt
mansplaining.
anyone's feelings.
It's the mansplaining event of the year. That's how it's built. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll speak at that. So I had to come up with something really quick to
That's
talk
funny.
about. That was an interesting being on the stage, like, you know, all women audience and like, saying stuff that is going to offend people. But it's
Well,
like it's the truth. But here you go. But it went over well. I mean, it went over well, but still it was just like I'm used to speaking in front of a lot of audiences, but that was a tough one. That's like
yeah.
so.
Well, I guess the part of it that I'm curious about is so what are the women hoping to get out of it? Just some perspective on how to connect with men, or
It's sort of like I mean there's a few different things, but in general, the women are looking to learn to be more feminine, more of what like they understand the problem with feminism, and so they're
uh-huh.
looking to just to be more feminine, to understand more about how they can be better, like how they can become unbrainwashed from the feminist kind of viewpoint
Okay.
that's messy. So like my talk was how to nab a top 5% man, right? And so I
Mhm.
talked about actually, which was pretty interesting considering the advice that I give on YouTube. I talked about the counter advice, and I was telling women that like going and sleeping with a guy on the first date, probably not the best idea if you're trying to nab a top 5% guy, right? Stuff like that. So I was I put on my reverend hat and went to town. But it's kind of interesting, like, because I had to really think about like the advice that I'm giving guys, right? That's like it's counter to that. But then I thought, like, from the other side of it, you know, how do you what kind of advice, like from an honest viewpoint, would I give women? And that's what it was. So it was, it was pretty interesting. So a lot of those women, again, like I said, I kind of listened to some of the talks. I talked to some of the people that were attending. And I was like, and this is also a topic that I have another YouTube channel that I'm a like an interviewer on, called Beauty
Mhm.
Ass Beast. And so I interview like beauty pageant girls, and they always ask me basically some variation of the question of like, how do I get like the guy that I want, like the top, like, the
Right.
right. And so that's where I came up with the idea of that, because that's something that I think a lot of women don't know and understand. And so yeah, so
Right.
it was interesting presenting the other side of it. Basically, like every tactic that I'm giving guys, I was giving them the counter. I was like a traitor. But you know, it's like one of those arms dealers who arms both sides, right? In a conflict,
Mhm.
that's me. I'm like the guy who
Well,
arms both sides.
that's why it's called a game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why it's called a game. So
It's a
so it's
game, and you cannot let just make it too easy for one side to win, because then it's not fun.
Well,
You have to make it complicated for both sides. You got to keep, like, the higher the level of the game, that means the more complicated it is and the more fun it is.
yeah. Well, and ultimately you're just teaching both groups how to get what they want, right?
that's true. That's exactly what it is. And
So,
there's always going to be the yin and the yang, the
yeah.
conflicting, you know, thing, and that's what makes life interesting. So
Yep, absolutely. Well, the other thing is
John's
down
gone
to
so far away from programming that it's not even funny anymore. We're like the farthest thing from programming that we start the show with today.
Yep. Well, it's interesting too, just from the game standpoint, where it's, these are winning strategies, but then next year, people have counters to them, or at least ways of setting themselves up so they can counter them, right? And so next year, those strategies will work on people who haven't been through the ringer.
It's not true. Not true. Winning strategies. Well, this is the wrong place for this conversation, my friends. This is the wrong place for this conversation.
There's tactics and there's strategies. Like strategies are more of long term. Tactics are
fair enough.
Are subject to the metagame.
John, I warn you that this is the wrong place for this.
Okay, all right. This is business. I went and spoke at a conference, so anyway,
Chuck will drag us into Utah if we just and then wash our mouth with soap if we go into this discussion for too long.
The conference was good though. It was yeah. I said the conference was good though. Yeah, it was good.
You wouldn't like me using the Utah soap.
Exactly. I know what Chuck's gonna do to you, John. So that's why I'm warning you. Chuck's gonna wash my soap, my mouth with the Utah soap, and it's just not fun.
Yeah.
He's gonna take me to church, and then we're gonna have to.
John's mouth's so dirty, I have to use sandpaper.
That's it.
Anyway.
It's a new joke style. Your mouth's so dirty that.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm curious though. So speaking at these conferences, I mean, what do you get out of it? Is it just the exposure? Are you looking to get people to subscribe to Bulldog Mindset?
I mean, for me, it's a couple things. I mean, the exposure. It's a pretty big event. Like it's really of the men's conference. It's really the biggest one. And then they recorded everything in 4K video, which I have rights to. So wow. I'll have my talks on 4K video. Pretty big promotion platform, more so online than in person, right? Because some of their videos on the channel get like 5-10 million views. So
right.
So that's pretty big. And then also it was interesting, like a lot of speakers there I wanted to meet. So Elliot Hulse was there. So I hung out with him. And then a couple of other guys that are fairly big YouTubers, and Jack Donovan, who wrote The Way of Men, he was there. It was interesting. He's like one of my favorite authors in that genre, and he was actually a fan of my channel. So we had talked a little bit before, but yeah, I was surprised to see that and hang out with him. And so yeah, so it was just a good kind of experience. My parents lived down there as well, so it kind of worked out, but yeah, really at this point, I'm trying to establish myself in that space more. Right. So as a speaker, whereas in the programming space, it's different, right? I would have much higher requirements to go speak somewhere. I'd want to be paid, $5,000 or $10,000 to go speak. Whereas here, I'll speak for just the travel and lodging costs because it's a good opportunity for me. So
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I probably will pick up at least one coaching client from there, which more than pays for the time, So.
Right. Makes sense. Cool.
But yeah, it was good. It was a good event. So now I just have to play catch up on everything. It's after being in Flagstaff for a month, and then I only had a week back, and then now being back here again after Florida, I'm not even caught up with email yet. I'm almost out of the email.
Welcome back. In this video, wave. We're going to talk about how to take all of...
Who's playing a YouTube video?
No, it's just welcome back.
Sure.
What about you guys? What's going on?
Go ahead, Manny.
What's going on? I'm busy automating my backends, and that's taking a lot more time because I'm partly I'm like working to hire a copywriter. You know, you said Tim was available for some work, and yeah, that's good. Though I'm kind of like I'm looking to hire much more of a longer term person rather than this project here and this project there, because then it just is like constant hustle for project based copywriters, right? So that's a little bit of my thing. I have interviewed a bunch of them, and it's interesting to go through this process of hiring copywriter, because as I've been trying to write copy for some of our products and kind of thinking through the whole thing again, I find that there were systems and processes that I was neglecting, but now that they're like I have them in front of me, I want to share those systems and process with like I want to systemize our copywriting efforts. I don't know if that is actually the way copywriters approach copywriting, but more like this is the template for any book summary pack. These are the kinds of emails that we send. You just kind of swap out the stories or swap out the storylines, but these are the pains. This is the spreadsheet of all the avatar, the pain, the challenges, the dreams, the aspirations. These are this is the spreadsheet of the avatar who's going to buy the entrepreneurship pack. This is the spreadsheet of avatar who's going to buy the social skills pack, the spreadsheet of avatar overall. Like it's the same avatar, but the different pains, the different frustrations, the different challenges, the different dreams, the different aspirations, all of those in a spreadsheet format, so they can kind of talk through them and kind of talk about the book and talk about the pains, and like I'm trying to systemize all of it. And it's interesting. It's fun. And I realized that systemization, I'm going through two different kinds of systemization challenges right now. One is the copywriting side of things, which is very rudimentary, but the other one is more of the book summaries, which is much more detailed now that I've had the team working with me for over a year and a half, almost, some members, and overall like writers working with me for the last 3-4 years now. So this process of creating like this, remember in the book E-Myth, Gerber talks about, oh yeah, you need to create process and systems, and you just sit down and you start writing a process or a system. Hell, man.
I was going to say, it's never been that simple for me.
No.
You get something ugly down, and then you wind up refining it about a zillion times.
It is so much of that. And the more intricate your output needs to be, the more detailed or more precise your outcome needs to be, the more that our document needs so much work. And what I was kind of, and since I have a team of the writers who are doing like the writing parts, like literally I adopted the philosophy that just writing a document is just so like almost impossible to get all of your brain into a document. So I'm just training them through calls and letting them ask questions and constantly putting all of that stuff back into the document, constantly putting back into the, as we have these calls, we have the feedback mechanism, and I'm like, all right, this is what we learned, let's put it in the document. This is what we learned, let's put it in the document. And it's more like what Mike Michalowicz talks about in Clockwork than it is how Michael Gerber paints it in the E-Myth. Right? It is very involved, it's very complicated, and it is very demanding.
It depends on the type of business too, right? Because in E-Myth, he's really focusing more on businesses like, I mean, his example is the bakery, right? So if you have a bakery, you can be like, okay, mix these ingredients, do this, like this is the cleanup steps. Like you can have more of a McDonald's type of process. But when it's a thinking process, it's more heuristics than steps. And heuristics are harder to describe because it requires a judgment, and it's a like figuring out what is the right heuristic is a lot more of a complicated process than figuring out sweep the floor, right? It's, you know, that's the challenge, I think, of it. So
well, and sometimes like when I'm hiring podcast editors, I can kind of do that, right? It's like, look, I want the noise cleaned up, I want this, you know, done, I want the intro music this way and stuff like that. But yeah, some of the other stuff where it's like, look, I need you to reach out to people in a certain way and make these certain decisions this way and that way. And, you know, if they respond with this, you got to do that, and that you got to do this. And, you know, or I need this specific kind of report, and so I need you to go through all this stuff, and there's a little bit of nuance to this data and that data and the other data. Yeah, you know, or I need prep notes done in a certain way, you know, which is relevant to what Manny's doing. Yeah, and copywriting is one of those things where you're hoping they can kind of adopt your voice, but then, yeah, you have a certain way of doing things, and you make certain decisions based on certain criteria, and capturing that is hard because you make a lot of those decisions without thinking about them.
Exactly. And summarization is the same challenge. Like, I want them to be done in a very specific voice, which is the voice of 2,000 books. And it's not as easy as, you know, the world would let you, as it's nowhere close to being easy. It's very complicated. It's very hard. And that's the challenge of a knowledge business like this, where the more complex the product is, the harder it is to scale the damn thing. In that sense, a knowledge product like that. Maybe there's other ways to scale different kinds of knowledge products. Well, this is definitely the harder routes. But I guess I don't think I have a good answer to systemization, other than I think without Clockwork, the what he explained in Clockwork is probably the closest thing I've been able to use as a reliable way to create any sense of a system.
Yep.
The process of talking and conversing and recording and using that as a tool. But even then, like, the meta level lessons are very hard to explain just in those. You still have to keep on curating, keep on improving. What I thought would take a month is already taken. It's probably 2 months, and it's going to take another 3 months.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the secret sauce. Once you have that system down, then it's not something that anyone can really replicate, right? Because everyone will think the same thing, and that this would take a month, and then they're not prepared for it. So then you can scale, and that, I mean, it's a good thing in the sense that anytime you're climbing a really tall mountain, there's very few people that are going to follow you. So
yeah, and I'm like, so it's been playing out. I've been working with the team, and finally, like, we're getting these scripts where basically I didn't really, other than my feedback, I wasn't involved in the script process at all, other than just giving feedback. I didn't even read the book. Right? It was just me going over it again and again with the person. I didn't read the book. I didn't even write any of the script, any of the mind map there. The team did the work. And now I am actually questioning if I should have someone else record that script, like not my voice, but an American voice, and see what the outcome of that is.
It's not a bad idea if you've already gone this far, right? Because why put yourself into the system when you have an opportunity to remove yourself from it at this point, right?
Yeah, so partly, like, so that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Like, should I do that? And maybe I should for one book and see how it goes. And then if it goes well, then do another book and another book and another book, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get to that point, then you could basically, I mean, you'd be at the point where you don't have to do anything for the business, right? It's like you can just oversee it, but you could have it scale up, and you could even eventually appoint someone else to run the day-to-day operation, and just a project manager that could get every piece coordinated, and you can just focus on like the bigger outside of the business things.
And I think that's what's interesting. That's what's going on in the business right now, in the sense that the abstraction of yourself from, or the abstraction, like you're basically getting to, you're saying, okay, I remove myself from this portion. So now what is the next portion that needs that can grow the business fast, right? Okay, so I can remove myself from this part of the business, but then this part of the business is still the bottleneck. And what's happening, and what I think is the model for any business at this juncture, is usually that you have to free yourself from operations and also the pillar of marketing and sales.
Right.
So that's why it's my next thing to focus on, which is hiring a copywriter and showing them what we're doing and getting them to do the copy work and all those things. So if you think of all the pillars of business, operations and product development and product fulfillment is like one pillar, right? And marketing and sales is the other pillar. If we cannot free ourselves from those two, we cannot really step back and think. Like we can forever be stuck in those pillars.
Yeah.
Right. So in some ways, the growth of business needs you to step away from these pillars. And that's why that book, David Finkel's book, Build a Business, Not a Job, has been kind of interesting, because what he's talking about is exactly what I'm going through right now. Like he was saying, okay, you need to at least have one pillar functioning without you, and then you need to have the second pillar functioning without you, and then you really have the freedom to scale up to another level. Because like when I think of, as I was thinking about this year and the next year that's coming up, like this quarter and the next few quarters, I realized that unless I can free myself up from having to write copy on a day-to-day basis for email marketing and for webinars and for sales pages, because there's so much we need to do that we could do now that we have these products in place, but I just can't, right? I was talking to Antonio, Real Men, Real Style. He's like, yeah, man, we can promote your product, but it's probably like, I would usually promote it if you have a webinar and you have a $200-300 price point product, or like $500 price point product, and we could have some good conversions on it. That would be the ideal way to do this.
Right.
I'm like, okay, there's an opportunity right there. Probably if we did that with Antonio's audience, it's probably worth $10,000-$20,000, even more. But I can't act on it right now.
Yeah, because you have too much.
I can't fucking do that shit, because and not only that, then I can go to Evan Carmichael. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Same process. These are all my friends now. So I can be like, okay, we got these webinars working. And it's just one webinar for one offer in that price point range. And it's totally possible. We already have big chunks of these products in place and these different pieces of different products in place to do that. But I just don't have the mental bandwidth or the time to be able to go and create a whole webinar funnel and webinar system and emails and sales pages and the offer and all those things. I would just be doing that. So that abstraction from, okay, I don't need to write copy. Okay, I don't need to write copy, but then now I don't even need to write sales pages or webinars or ways. Okay, now I can focus on deal making.
Right.
Because deal making is the real rainmaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
For as entrepreneurs, when we can get to the deal making level, that means we have the other pieces of the puzzle figured out. And that's where business has much higher opportunity for growth.
Right.
So I think deal making, as in joint ventures and affiliates, like on a much larger scale, once you either have your own, and usually especially if you have a product that converts at a decent price point, like right now webinars are still the vogue, like everyone's promoting people's webinars for some reason. That's the only way people like to do major large scale deals. So yeah, I feel like that's where I want to spend a lot of my energy come next quarter, which is to be able to do more, like to focus on deals, on making deals, on focus on figuring out offers and deals.
Yeah.
On joint venture partnerships, affiliate partnerships, whatever it is. And then at some point, you automate that part of the business, and then you move to the next part, like you hire an affiliate manager or something like that, and you let them do that. So it's a never-ending cat and mouse game of separating yourself or abstracting yourself to a higher layer.
Yeah, but the flip side is that, as you abstract yourself to a higher layer, essentially what you're doing is you're leveraging things so that your time is worth more and more and more. You're doing more and more valuable things, and that's where the payoff is.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're abstracting you're separating yourself from the lower value stuff to be able to create more value in the business, to be able to hire all those people and pay all those people to do what they do best. The other thing I realized is that there's no way in hell I can do all of these things well.
Right.
Yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine, and he showed me this nifty little trick in automation in ConvertKit where you can literally, just with one little piece of code, you can do split tests on automated campaigns in ConvertKit.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Right. That was not possible. I've been trying to figure it out. ConvertKit just doesn't really have that functionality. But because that guy is so tuned in to the email marketing and automation side of things, just like that 2 minutes that he was able to give me that, and he was like, just do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, there's no way in hell I can go and figure out all this shit by myself.
Yeah.
I need to be constantly hiring people to do these things, because me doing this is the ultimate waste of life and energy and time. Right. So if I can, I must go and find people to do what they do best, what they know best, so I can do what I do best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How's your advertising going, John?
I need to check in with those guys. Let me see if there's
I feel
any
like
new tests.
I am more involved in John's advertising than John isn't involved in his advertising.
Well, the trouble has been with the travel and stuff. I haven't been available, so we're waiting till I got back.
Is your copywriter not working with them on that?
He was a little bit. I need to put him on. I'm talking about potentially. I told Tim to give me a proposal for him to become the CMO of my companies, and see what that was like. Because then he would be full time, and then he would be just in charge of all marketing and advertising, and then I could really take a real big chunk off of me, because his whole job would be, you are the one who does everything marketing and advertising. And yeah, I think that's where I need to go. It's a little bit, it's like one of those, I want to see what he comes up with in terms of what he needs for compensation, but it's one of those like leaps where it's like, it will probably cost me a lot if I do this right now, where it's not paying off, but then within 6 months or a year, I'd be hoping to bridge that gap, because hopefully he'll be able to do enough stuff that would make it worth it. So, but yeah, we don't have the ads running right now, so I'll have to double check with them and see what's going on. But yeah, we had kind of slowed down.
I mean, this is like the fact that it has taken it so long to do something so basic. I'm either these guys are just up to like I don't know, man. It's been what, 3-4 months now you've been trying this with them?
Yeah.
It shouldn't take that much longer to, I mean, it shouldn't take that much time to actually get something going.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they haven't run ads. We've got a lot of information here based on what, on different what's working. Like we've been doing tests to figure out which pain points. So they're very meticulous in the process of figuring out what will work, which is good, because I'm in this for the long haul, right? I'm committed to making this work at this point. So
Right.
So I don't mind if it takes a little bit longer, and you rather than doing a rush job and then it's like, oh, advertising doesn't work. It's like, because they've been doing like the pain benefit challenge, right? Testing. And so we've got some good info from that. I went over it with them like before I left for Florida, and we talked about, and I saw the results from which message hits with the audience. So I just need to follow up. I'm waiting until next week till I get caught up with everything, and then I'm going to follow up with them, and then we're probably going to launch a more serious.
Are you happy with the progress you've made so far on that front?
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of going at my pace because I want to be involved with every step. And so when I was up in Flagstaff and then going to Florida, it was kind of necessary to slow, because I don't want them running too far ahead of me, because I want to make sure that I'm, I'm involved in this, because it's like, even just, some of the stuff, like I think he was, one of the guys we were on a call before I left for Florida, and he was showing me like the wording that they're using, and he was talking about how he feels like guys, like the message needs to be like, how to get these things, or like how to get the girl, how to like be successful while being your true self, right? And I had to, and I had to phrase it a little bit differently because I deal with that, right? It's like, I brought it in terms of identity, right? It's like, how to become what I rephrase it was how to become who you truly are, how to unlock your true self, like how to unlock the real alpha male that's inside you, right? That's kind of the messaging. But I only know that because I work with my audience. And so I know how to phrase what he's trying to say in a way that resonates with them. So that's why it's so important that I'm involved in every step, is because they have the right idea for messaging, but I know the right words to use.
Right. You can echo the self-talk that these people.
Are you guys doing any retargeting right now?
I don't think they have a retargeting campaign yet. That's going to definitely, it was something we talked about on the last one as well. So
retargeting not to the cold audience, but I'm saying to the audience that's already been hitting you for the last 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be part of it as well. So
that would be easy money right away.
Yeah. See, I've got analytics set up now with UTM parameters. And so like I've got a good dashboard here. So actually I can show you guys. I think you might find this interesting. Let me share my screen. So it's not 100% perfect because you just can't track everything 100% perfect with analytics. But can you guys see the analytics screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I set up like a dashboard for trial membership, and let's see if this loads up. So we can look at like let's do like the last 30 days. So in the last 30 days, I had 77 people sign up for the $7 trial, right? This isn't so important, like where they completed the landing page, or their landing page where they came in. Most of them came directly into the trial membership offer, but some people got it from the quiz and then went from there, right? So you can see that most of them. But what's interesting here is like so the source medium, YouTube social media, is by far the largest section here. So most people are coming directly from YouTube, from one of the YouTube links, some from Google, right? YouTube referral again is here. AC internal email is like the email active campaign is here too. So some of that, and then a few from Instagram. So getting some conversions from Instagram now. But then you look at like the campaigns is a little bit harder to tell. I mean, these are some specific email campaigns here. But if you look at the ad content, this is like the extra information. So description means that these are coming from the description link in YouTube. That's the highest by far. So that's where, not set could be any of the other ones where it's not as detailed. Card is a card in YouTube. Profile is mostly going to be a profile on Instagram. And then there's a few one-offs on the email. So most of the sales are coming directly from YouTube. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's
how can
why
you scale up YouTube?
Well, I mean, yeah, that I guess that's the keys, right? Like scaling up YouTube. What I do now is every single YouTube video is a pitch. So somewhere in the YouTube video, I talk about the membership and I get people to click and join. But yeah, getting more YouTube traffic would be.
Yeah. How can you, like, if you had infinite resources, how would you scale up YouTube?
Well, one of the things I'm doing actually, so here, I'll show you guys this too. Where is it?
I mean, you can see what videos people are watching, right?
Yeah. So I've got a new channel. I've got a guy I hired full time to work on this new channel called Bulldog Mindset Clips. And it's little clips that are from my videos, and he does some animation stuff on them. So like, you know, there's like, so he just takes my audio or takes my video and then he overlays some animation and, or he's been chopping up some clips from interviews and stuff too, making kind of like Joe Rogan clips, right? So that's one way is I'm trying to create some more things like that they lead back to the main channel. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other ways. I mean, I've got a lot of people, I've been doing a lot of live streams, bringing people on live streams where they're promoting to their audience. One cool thing also that actually here, I'll show you guys this one too. So
are you running YouTube ads?
I'm not running YouTube ads right now. I don't think so. But Connor Murphy has like 2.47 million subscribers on his main channel. And then he's got this new channel that gets a lot of views on the videos, but if you check out like his latest videos, right? So he posted me interviewing him. He broke them into clips. So all of these are like, and they all link right back to my full interview on my channel.
Right.
So things like that is what I'm focusing on to grow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do AdSense and YouTube ads?
Like just to direct traffic to videos?
I don't know. I mean, you would have to test it out and build a funnel for YouTube ads.
Yeah, Tim was talking about that. That's one thing that if he,
I mean, if
takes a CMO,
if you're getting so much traffic from YouTube and so much subscriber base from YouTube, then that's like the place to go find your, like, to I mean, if someone were just retargeting everything that you had from the YouTube audience to some, like, if you already know that YouTube is bringing you all this money and all these people, then why not just go crazy on YouTube?
Well, I mean,
in terms of ad, and figure out your ad funnel on YouTube and really spend, like, you're going to Facebook. I get it. I understand Facebook is important, but damn it, man. When you got so much leverage on that channel, on that platform, and you have certain level of warmth with that audience, like if you're getting what, 2 million views, 1 million views a month now, or what is it?
It's not quite that. It's been dropping down in the last month. It's like more like 600,000 views a month right now.
600,000 views a month.
Yeah.
Out of those, 41 people bought.
Yeah.
So imagine that.
Yeah, you're saying there's a lot more depth there, right? There's
600,000 people watched, 600,000 videos watched, and 44 people watched, or 41 people watched.
Yeah.
Damn, man. I mean, 600,000 is a huge number compared to 41 people who bought. Like 600,000 people heard your message better than they, like, just as good as a message they would have heard on Facebook or through your email or anything like that. but 40 people bought.
Well, and even if you rule out the few hundred paying subscribers, it's still
pretty big. Yeah.
Hey, it's peanuts.
There's a ton of potential there.
It's peanuts compared to it's 600,000, but really the recurring subscriber or the people who are the unique viewers might be more like 100,000.
Yeah.
Well, each video, like if a new video comes out, it gets anywhere from probably like 5 to 10K views in the first like 2 weeks. So
that's probably a more reliable number because those are probably the people who are actually subscribed to your channel.
Yeah, and some of them aren't, right? So it's like, so maybe there's like my exposure for any video, or for the month might be to like 20,000 people or so. But still, that's
if you had sent 600,000 emails, you would be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
Or if you had let's not call 600,000 because maybe only in the last 4 or 5 months have you really pushed this, right? So whatever views you're getting from the last 4 or 5 months, let's just call it 100,000 views from the videos in the last 4 or 5 months that have really explicitly done this for you. Yeah, 100,000 views and 40 sales. I think still there is probably some sort of a YouTube ad funnel that can mine the gold here.
Yeah, that's why I need a marketing officer to come up with the campaigns and run this and to get this going, because it's not something I can devote my energy to and still run all the other things I need to run right now.
And still run 100 miles is what you're saying.
Yeah, that would help too if I wasn't running 100 miles. But
when's that race again?
I signed up for a new one. It's December 5th and 6th.
So you're not doing the one in Texas anymore?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's the Benzos.
Yeah.
Brazos
Bend 100. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know where that is, Manny? Brazos Bend?
I'm assuming it's somewhere in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told us about that last time or the time before.
Yeah. So yeah, next week starts the heavy mileage. This week was pretty soft, but I'm running faster than I've ever run before, so it's good. So I think I'll be ready for this. I'm feeling good. But next Saturday and Sunday, I have 15-mile runs back to back. Actually, it's like Fridays 10 miles, Saturdays 15, Sundays 15. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of running.
Cool.
Yep. A lot of running.
So yeah, on my end, so I'm still working on pulling things together. Manny and I recorded an episode where we pitched his mental toughness package.
Awesome.
So I'm going to see if I can get that out within the next week or two. And then I've been talking to Jason about getting him on to talk about game dev and do the same thing with his game courses, because he offers a pretty good commission for that. And yeah, just kind of working through that as far as some of these go and getting that done. And then I've also been working on the podcast playbook stuff. And so some of it is just down to kind of what we were talking about with Manny, except I'm going to polish it to the point where I can actually, sell it. And then but I've been putting together a summit to launch it. And I think I've got like 15 or 16 speakers now. Some of them,
okay, cool.
Some of them include John Lee Dumas and Kate Erickson.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
His podcast playbook thing, like how to sponsor his podcasts and
how to. This is how to grow a podcast is what the summit's about. But I've already done two of the interviews.
I will do it.
You want to do it?
I want to speak. Yeah.
What would you speak about? Like what's your angle?
What are some of the topics?
So I had somebody come and talk about essentially how to measure growth on your podcast and then how to do like Google ads and things to grow your podcast. And that was pure gold. I mean, I'm going to be going and setting stuff up. Some of it's similar to what John set up with UTM parameters, except she kind of took it to the next level. I talked to another guy. He does Podcast Me Anything. And so it's kind of an Ask Me Anything where he interviews podcasters. I'm actually going to be on his show in a couple weeks now. After interviewing him, he was like, that was awesome. Come on my show and we'll talk about the summit. I'm like, okay. And he talked about like how to set up your podcast website and the kinds of things that get people to talk about so word of mouth stuff and things like that. What you need to be doing to capture people when they come to your website. So I have a ton of stuff that I'm going to do there. And at the summit, I'm planning on actually pitching I think I might've told you guys this before, but a 6-month mastermind where we just go in every week and do some of the specific things that we're getting from these speakers.
I can send you a list of things, but one of the things that comes to mind is how to consistently pitch and sell your products through your podcast.
Boom, done.
That was easy.
Of course, that's more monetization, and I kind of want to do a monetization summit next year.
This is like growth.
This is more.
Yeah, this is growth. This is how do you get more people subscribed?
I could talk about being polarizing, how to be polarizing to.
You want to speak, John?
Future growth. Sure, I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. I like that angle too.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys have things that you think,
I'll send you a couple of 2 or 3 topic ideas. See if you like any of them.
Sounds good. But yeah, I've got the other thing is there are people that are kind of thought leaders out there in the podcasting community. A couple folks I've kind of had their teams get back to me, and so I'm in talks with them. And they're fairly big names. But then I've got Rob Walsh and Rob Greenlee from Libsyn. I've got the guys that run the one of the guys that does Buzzcast, which is one of the bigger podcasting podcasts. Anyway, I've got all these people that people have heard of, so I'm pretty excited about all that stuff. So that's coming together. I've got to get the interviews done and get the website up. But yeah, I think that's really going to help get my email list to grow and help grow the channel as well. So then I just need to start.
Have you already started selling tickets to it?
Not yet.
How are you gonna get the word out to like sell these tickets?
So I'm leaning a little bit on my speakers. So like Matthew, who I talked to yesterday, he's going to be sending it out to his group. I'm probably going to spend a little bit of money just running ads to people who are fans of Podcast Movement or
I think
some
if
of
you
my speakers.
Yeah, you get your speakers to do it. It will be pretty good.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So it will take you away from your core business. So just,
Yeah.
It is away from tech podcasting. So that would be.
Yeah, that's starting to warm up
distraction.
too. I'm starting to get more and more leads for sponsors. And so I've actually been doing sponsorship calls off and on throughout the week. So that's picking up. I think there's still a little bit of what the economy will do pre and post election that's up in the air. And if it tanks again, then I think some of that will dry up, but we'll see. But yeah,
I got to jump off here in a little bit here. I got a meeting in 3 minutes.
Okay. But yeah, so that's essentially where I'm at. So I'm pretty excited. Things are looking pretty good. And yeah, we'll just keep turning the crank.
Nice.
All right.
Good.
John, I just sent you a couple of domains you might want to look into.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look. Should we do our thoughts?
Yeah, let's do our thoughts. I mean, my thoughts really, and it comes out of Manny and I talking yesterday about mental toughness, was just looking at things, and sometimes you have to kind of push through without really understanding before you get to the place where you're kind of seeing where the opportunities are in the things that happen to you that aren't what you want. But I mean, just having persevered through a lot of this stuff, I'm realizing that I'm starting to come out on the other end. I'm having people come to me now wanting to either sponsor, partner, or have me consult with them on their podcast, which is kind of funny because I haven't advertised that at all or publicized that at all. And so, just because things send you or a setback, and trust me, everyone's going to have them. It doesn't mean that it's done. And a lot of times the better opportunities are on the other side of that.
Mine would be fall down 6 times, get up 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after trying to run that 100-mile race and, going the 32 miles or whatever, and just like, I was done running. And then, here I am again, pushing forward again. And it's like, you just have to get up. Like, no matter what, you have to get up, and it's going to feel like you can't get up and like it's over and it's done and you failed, but you just get up and try again and dust yourself off and you'll be back. It's, after that, I thought, I'm done. There's no way, like, I'll never feel like running again. And now I'm feeling like I'm running better than I've ever run before. So what I thought was the end was just a step along the line. I think it's always like when you fall down and then you think it's over, that's when you're making the biggest growth. And so you just have to make the decision just to get up and go again. So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to keep it simple. In business, you only have a business when you have leverage. So.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you again next time.
Yep.